All right, what is up, everybody? So, Shell Scout 0013 here, reporting in for another unit review slash list building session, even though they're already built, but at least different list ideas for all of you. So, I want to talk about Lando because Lando is not bad. Obviously, not the best, but really not bad. And he pairs really well with other operatives or other bounty hunters because his 2 pip is really good, the contingencies is really good for others, and yeah, I mean, I like his range 1 to 3. He's got sharpshooter 2, surge to crit, so it's really nice. It's almost like Cassian's Infinity Shot, but only at range 1 to 3, surge to crit, and yeah, it's just really nice. So I like it, and like I said, he pairs really well with other rebel operatives. So I think we might see him more on the table with new operatives or commanders that have a lot of cards. And yeah, I'll make sure to kind of hit on that and touch on that and just go over his card, his unit card, his flaw card, because that kind of sucks. But other than that, it's really not bad. And yeah, but before I do, let's go ahead and head on over to the Discord where you can become a member for free. It's really easy. All you got to do is just join. And there you can ask questions about anything. If you got rules questions, if you have a bat rep or a battle report, I should say, that you do with your friends, post it big time because I love watching slash reading different battle reports because it gives me a good idea of like different ideas, different moves, things like that. So I definitely encourage you guys to post them. Also, if you need feedback or if you need ideas about different lists or units, feel free to post it into the Empire list, Rebel list, CIS list. It's kind of just like for Rebels. You know, the Albert alumni was posting his played this last night and he had a blast with Lando, Boba, and Din. And I asked him, how well did Lando do and how he decided to use them and the different ideas that even I had. So it's cool to see what all of you guys are doing and using. And if you paint a lot, feel free to join into the Hobby General. If you paint and you like showing people your painting, then join the Tiki Bar and the Hobby Hut, aka basically, and show off your skills. Like do video stuff, do any kind of video, and or I mean just talking to people, giving ideas out. And if you do commission stuff, this is a great way to kind of post your website or your Instagram, and people can go to it if they need some painting done. And if you haven't head to the Clan of Shadows Patreon, this is a great way to support me and to do what you can as a member to help this channel to grow. And amazingly, I've been in contact with Comms Scan. It is an order token Etsy, and they make these really, really cool Etsy tokens. Basically, ComScan is an Etsy store selling the best Star Wars Legion order tokens in the galaxy, pairing the satisfying tactile qualities of a casino chip with high definition graphics that could come straight from the bridge of the profundity. You'll be using improvised orders just to keep drawing from the bag, so please go ahead and check out their Etsy. And if you use the discount code Shadow Scout, you're going to get 10% off. And kind of just to give you an idea of what they look like this is next to Ahsoka, and this looks absolutely amazing. Like, these order tokens look cool. And if you want an idea of what mine are going to look like, you can see that it's going to have the Shadow Scout logo on one side, and then a really cool design of the unit that you're going to be using with that awesome basically background that you can use the graphics that would come straight from the profundity or any other type of comms place. So yeah, guys, go check it out. It would be awesome if you guys could help support him because it'll help support the channel too, just by getting some order tokens. So yeah, head on over. All of the links will be down in the description down below. Also, lastly, if you want, head on over to theburnacademy.com and subscribe for $15 a month, especially for the new year. Head on over there. You're going to get 3, 4, 5, and 6-day week workout programs in case you're short on days or you have a lot of days. 30-minute torture programs in case you're short on time. At-home workouts in case you can't go to the gym. And then abs and core and cardio circuits either outside of the gym or in. And 120 different recipes with coaching videos and everything you need if you're either vegan, on a Mediterranean, or a keto, whatever you're doing. And if you have questions, it's great that some of you guys have already signed up and are using it, and it's nice to just have you guys either ask questions or get information from me. But all right, that is really it, guys. Let's go ahead and talk about Lando. So, Lando, he is a commander naturally. So that's really cool. He has a command slot, a training slot, and a gear slot. He's got 6 health, 2 courage, so it's kind of low, but not too bad. He rolls white defense dice, but he does have uncanny luck too, so you can re-roll up to 2 defense dice. He does surge to defense, which helps, and then he surges to crit, which is really good, especially with his range 1 to 3 sharpshooter 2 gun. That is pierce. So if you at least roll, 1 or 2 hits, it's going to be doing good. So you're going to be getting at least probably 1 to 2 minis down, especially since cover is not going to be an issue. And with, the low profile, with Ewoks and stuff like that, and with the cover rules the way they are, I mean, you're probably going to see a little bit more of Lando. But the contingencies are really awesome. He's got contingencies 3, so you can set aside 3 extra cards to use. So what you would do with contingencies is, you can pick whatever pips you want, but in order to use the contingencies, you would lay down an eligible card. So that means that if you are playing, Rebel Boba, and now Rebel Boba is gone off the table, you cannot lay one of his command cards to contingency into another card. You have to play a card that is eligible. So if Rebel Boba is alive and you play his 1 pip, then what you could do is you can go into contingencies and grab another 1 pip and replace the 1 pip that you laid. So maybe if you're playing Rebel Boba and you were playing his 1 pip, making his way in the galaxy, whatever the 1 pip is, and you didn't like it at the time because the situation didn't call for it, you can contingency that 1 pip with his other 1 pip, the whipcord. You can go with the whipcord instead, but it has to be the same pip, and you have to lay down an eligible card first before the contingency. So that's all. And then with covert ops, when you deploy, you can now treat your rank as an operative, and if you do, you gain infiltrate, which is really nice. But you cannot use covert ops unless you have another commander. So whether that be the generic commander or Leia or anyone, but you cannot use covert ops unless you have another commander, and that goes even with Cassian. With Cassian, you still have to have somebody as a commander before you can do covert ops. He does have flaw card, and I'll go over that now. In just a second, and he also has a black and white in combat training, so he's not the worst in combat, but it's better than 1 dice. So let's look at his flaw card. So you can play this card at the start of the command phase if there's at least 3 cards in the discard pile of an opponent who controls Lando. So if you are the opponent and you get this card, because they are playing Lando, if they, on turn 4, basically, there's probably 3 cards in the discard pile, unless they've used their contingencies and they have an extra one in there. Then you can play this card at the very, very beginning before the other command cards are laid down, because it's at the start of the command phase, not during. And then that opponent cannot use their contingencies or Lando Calrissian's command cards. So the best way to get around it is, if you don't really need anything in your contingencies, then that's fine. If you don't have any of his command cards, then that's also fine. Or if you've already used his command cards and you have none of them left, then this really doesn't affect you that much. But you got to be careful, because you don't know when they're going to be playing this. Either it could be like turn 3, 4, 5, or 6, because by that time, if you've used a contingency card, then you might have a little bit more in the discard pile. All right. So yeah, you just got to be careful. Now his 1 pip, Idiot's Array. Lando Calrissian is going to gain Gunslinger and Marksman, which is really cool, because then he can use those aims to convert into crits or whatever else. And since he surges to crit, maybe you rolled a crit and a hit and a surge. Well, the surge is going to go to a crit, and then you can spend an aim to make that hit a crit. Really cool. And then you can do it again. So if you basically, let me just keep reading, I guess. If there's a 3 pip command card in the discard pile, Lando's going to gain an aim and a dodge, or 2 aims and 2 dodges if there's a 3 pip and a 2 pip, or 3 aims and 3 dodges if there's a 3 pip, 2 pip, and a 1 pip in the discard pile. And again, If you use contingencies, you're having to discard the card originally played, and then you're going to be playing a new one, and then that one eventually is going to go into the discard pile. So then you would have had 2 cards that one round go into the discard pile. So maybe by even turn 2, maybe at turn 3, you could really use this card and get it off, but at the same time, you have to be careful of the flaw card. But this does give you lots of opportunity, or an opportunity, to really gain a lot of different aims and dodges. With the flaw card, it's just so tough, but it's a really good card, and the fact that you can Gunslinger and Marksman with Pierce is super nice. Now his 2-pip gives it to Lando and a unit. And that unit can be a trooper unit, a creature, a trooper, a heavy, whatever. But when Lando is issuing an order to a unit, it gains a dodge or a standby. And that extra standby is so good, because maybe you give this unit to Wookiees. Well, they got a range 2. Maybe they're at range 2 of somebody. That opponent goes with the unit at range 2. Maybe they take an aim because they're getting ready to shoot at the Wookiees. Well, now the Wookiees can move out of the way, at least with that standby, so then they don't get shot. Or, if they're within range of charge distance, maybe you give them the standby. And yeah, I think the better use, well, I guess it is, dependent. But yeah, so the other way to use this card is, before drawing from your order pool, you may instead discard this card from your contingencies or hand. So what I would like to do is I would always put this card in the contingency, and then that way you never screw up the order hand. So have your normal 6 cards that you like in your command hand, and then add this one to the contingency to be able to draw it from the extra cards and not an actual order card. And then if you do, you can issue an order to Lando or a friendly unit at range 1 to 2 of him, and then activate that unit. So kind of what you could do is, if you put this in the contingencies, and then maybe you've got, like I said, maybe Den, and he gains an aim and a dodge for independent. Well, you have this card in the contingencies. Maybe you've used, someone else's card to give them an order, and Den got his independent aim dodge, and he's in a position where you would maybe want him to go, but you didn't. You play the ace off his sleeve. You go ahead and give the order to Den if he's at range 1 to 2 of Lando, and he's going to be able to benefit from his aim dodge, and you can go ahead and go when you need him. So it's just really nice to be able to use this card. And I'll kind of, with the other lists, explain kind of what I would think about whenever playing them as well. And then All In. This is a very gambling type card, and you would give it to Lando and 2 other units. Each enemy unit at range 1 to 3 and in line of sight of Lando gains 2 observation tokens. So this could be a ton of different enemies. That's just really nice. You could give it to like 4 different units if they're all at range 3 of him and in line of sight. The later you use it, this might even come in handy. It's basically like getting a free aim token. And so before Lando Calrissian rolls dice during an attack, you can declare a block or crit result. After your re-roll dice step, if there's at least one of the declared results, add 2 matching results. If not, your opponent removes up to 2 dice. You don't have to do this. It just says you may declare something. So if you want to gamble, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. If you just want this card for each enemy unit at range 1 to 3 to gain 2 observation tokens that are in line of sight of him, then that's fine. That's what you do. And then you give it to Lando and 2 other units. You don't have to declare anything. So don't get caught in that trap if you feel like you're not going to get anything right. It is a big gamble. It's just up to you. But yeah, that is Lando and his cards. Let's take a look at a few upgrades. Aggressive tactics, well, let's take a look. With Idiot's Array, it's just him. With Ace up his sleeve, you're probably using this in his contingencies to give out an order real fast. And then with All In, yeah, that's one card that you could probably really get away with aggressive tactics, because if during the command phase you were nominated, after issuing orders, you can choose up to 4 friendly units with face-up order tokens, and each one gains a surge. It's really not useful on Lando. Honestly, what I think the best ones is obviously improvised orders would be one of the best. Lead by example would be another good one. Underworld connections, especially if you're going to be bringing some bounty hunters, or mercenary forces like the swoop pikes and or the pikes, because they can go with anybody. And then vigilance. Those four are the main ones you're probably going to be seeing on Lando. Now, the training slot. Hunter could be really great because, yeah, he's got Sharpshooter too, but getting an extra aim could be really, really good. And with Idiot's Array, he's going to be gaining aims and dodges, and he's going to have Marksman and Gunslinger. And you probably won't need so many, but it's always nice to have. And being able to move and then gain an aim by attacking a multi-wound unit could come in handy. So Hunter is a possibility. And then it sees the initiative, I think, is the strongest choice and probably the best choice for a training slot. And yeah, that's really it. I mean, up close and personal, it's just not worth it. Situational awareness maybe could be worth it, but honestly, seize initiative is the best. And then for gear slots, possibly recon intel, prepared supplies, and emergency stems, I think would probably be the best. Maybe environmental gear, but the emergency stems, like I said, is going to help anyone who is in the predicament of him being the bounty. That way, if, the bounty hunter does try to shoot him, you can put those wounds on the emergency stems, and then next turn, take him away after you give him back those wounds and prevent your opponent from claiming the bounty. So that's why I would advocate for emergency stems. But other than that, he's pretty good by himself, honestly. I think he's just fine the way he is. Because you're probably bringing him with others because of the contingencies, and he'll be good on his own. All right, so let's take a look at a few different list ideas and kind of what I've come up with. So I've got Lando with Vigilance, Seize Initiative, just kind of like as a great way to give himself the order and to maintain dodges on different units. Cassian with Hunter and his sniper config. K2SO just by himself. IG-11 with Hunter and bounty programming. I've got 2 Pike foot soldiers with the P-13 disruptor and the capo. And then I've got 2 Rebel troopers. Both of them have the medical droid and portable scanners. And then I've got a Rebel veterans unit with just the comms technician and HQ uplink, and then the medium blaster trooper. Mostly what's going to be happening is that the comms technician is going to be trying to give themselves an order to gain a dodge and to coordinate to the medium blaster trooper to set up a fire support shot with Lando, because then it would be 5 black and a red sharpshooter 2 all surging to crit. If you really wanted to, what you could do is also fire support with Cassian, on one of his sniper shots, which would be the same exact thing, surging to crit, and then if he's got any more aims, he can continue dice fixing. I think it'd be even better with IG-11 because he's got the ability to even maybe like with his range 1 to 3 gun, it would be Pierce 2, because with the bounty programming, you gain bounty and then AI, aim, and attack. And if you choose a commander as the target of bounty, then all of your weapons gain Pierce 1. And you've already got a Pierce 1 weapon, so it'd be Pierce 2. And then if you chose an operative, basically, as the target of a bounty, then all of your weapons gain suppressive. So then you would have Pierce and suppressive for that one, which is really, really cool. But then maybe say that you bountied a commander, and then now you've got a Pierce 2 on this gun, and then maybe you fire support with the Mark II, giving you 5 black, 2 white, critical 2, Pierce 2. Man, yeah, that could really do some damage. And IG-11 has Gunslinger, so you could only be able to fire support, not with both attacks, but at least on one attack, which is really nice. Or, you could fire support with the Pikes. The Pikes are going to be rolling a crap ton of dice at range 3, and if the Mark II is in range and can fire support, then you're going to be rolling, like 4, 5, 6, 7 black plus 5, so 12 black, 1 red, critical 2 impact. Yeah, you're gonna be doing some damage, so that could be really fun. If you had enough points to give K2 his god, that again be really fun because that's 5 white, I think. Yeah, 5 white, 4 black, so 9 dice, critical 2. Well, I guess Surge to crit, honestly, because he surges to crit. And then Pierce and Suppressive. Yeah, this has the possibility of doing some good damage. And with Rebel Troopers having portable scanners, you're stacking dodges on the Pike Foot Soldiers with these 2 rebels, and then this Rebel Veteran is trying. I mean, all 3 of them can be doing objectives. And then IG-11 and K2SO and Cassian are all going to be so much of a threat, and the Pike Foot Soldiers here, that they're probably not shooting at these guys, more than likely. And no one can shoot at K2SO anyway, unless he's made an attack, claimed an objective, or is at range 1 of an enemy through incognito. So basically, you cannot be attacked by enemy units beyond range 1, unless you have performed an attack or used an objective card action during this game, or if they have attacked you at range 1. So that's really, really nice. And, with the contingencies, you're able to bring, well, all right, so with the order cards, or with your command cards, I should say. I don't know why I say order cards, but with your command cards, you have to bring anti-capture protocols. It doesn't say you have to play it, but you have to play, So let's take a look at it real fast. So when building a command hand, if your army includes IG-11, this card must be included. And then at the end of IG-11's activation, if he has 3 or more wounds, he performs an attack with the following weapon. Well, it doesn't say that you can't play this earlier and contingency it with Sacrifice. So Sacrifice, I think, is a really good card with K2SO and Cassian. So maybe if you're playing Recover the Supplies and you infiltrated Cassian and not Lando, because Lando technically is a commander and so is Cassian. So you could choose to infiltrate one of them, but not both of them. And maybe you're playing Recover the Supplies, you infiltrate Cassian into the middle, and then K2SO is attachment, so he's going to be right next to him. And then what you would do is maybe play the anti-capture protocols, and then contingency that with Sacrifice. This is as far as I know you're allowed to do it. If this is not allowed, please let me know in the comments down below. And everyone watching, if you see that comment down below, obviously I'm wrong, but for the most part, that is my understanding, because it is a 3-pip that you're contingencying for another 3-pip, and this says that, you have to include it in your hand, but yeah, it doesn't say you can't contingency it. And then, you've got Volunteer Mission, you got Ace Up His Sleeve as a contingency that you can just use at any point in time to give maybe IG-11 in order, and or maybe the Pike Foot Soldiers in order, they've benefited off their independent dodge already, or you can give it to K2SO or Cassian or whatever, and that's really nice to have. And then Mechanical Carnage in case you want to get rid of the Idiot's Array and you want to have Mechanical Carnage instead. I mean, you can also flip-flop these. You don't have to have them. You don't have to have Mechanical Carnage in the contingency, but I mean, it's a possibility. So yeah, that's a 10 activation list and a great way to kind of use Lando. The Vigilance is really mostly for the Pike Foot Soldiers, and then the Portable Scanners is kind of for the Pike Foot Soldiers, but you can also give it to K2SO, which will give it to Cassian, and then K2SO could also use his Calculate the Odds on the Pike Foot Soldiers, who also benefit from the Danger Sense. So that's really nice. So K2SO really works well with Pike Foot Soldiers. So that's another reason. And it's 10 activations. Everything is, got an extra body somehow. So yeah. All right, another one. This is Lando and Den. I've got Lando with Vigilance. If you honestly really wanted to, you could flip-flop the Rebel Officers' improvised orders with Lando's Vigilance. It doesn't really matter. And then I've got Seize the Initiative on Lando just because you don't need it on him, but you could. It's obviously nice to have. The Rebel Officers got improvised and portable scanners. I've got Den with up close and personal situational awareness, the Flame Projector, the Jetpack Rocket, and the Beskar Spear. And if you really wanted, you don't have to have up close and personal. What you could do is change that out for Tenacity, and then you would have a lot better melee weapon. You would have, in your melee profile, you'd have 3, if you were wounded, 3 red and 3 black. Surging to crit, lethal, and it could be Pierce too because you've got Duelist. So that's really nice to have as a backup. because you don't have any force users with Lando right now in any of these lists, mostly because his 2-pip I just wanted to give to someone else. So this could be your linebacker or the guy who takes care of all the melee stuff, because he's going to be immune to pierce when you spend a dodge. So yeah, that's really nice to have. And the reason I have up close and personal is whenever he is moving and he's gaining an aim from tactical, then he takes a shot at range 1 to 2. He's going to be able to get that extra dodge, and now he'll have 2 dodges, and then you've got situational awareness on him, so he's standing alive pretty well. And I liked him. It's just nice to have. I've got 2 Rebel veterans with the CM93 Trooper and Recon Intel, and then one of them also has a medic. You've got your 2 Mark IIs, and then the fun part is you've got the Wookiees with the Battle Shield Wookiee and Tenacity inside the AA5 speeder truck, who has the Reckless Driver, the Gonk Droid for the shields, the Quad Laser, and onboard comms channel to be able to give the only special forces in order, so that you have a little bit better order control of when you want the Wookiee warriors to disembark. Maybe the first time you go with the bus almost like last, if you can, if possible, and you just move 3 times, and then on the second round you give an order to the speeder truck, which will give an order to the Wookiees, and then you can just disembark the Wookiees because the bus hasn't moved that turn just yet. And then you take a compulsory move with the Reckless Driver, so you can at least move around and do something else, and then you can take an aim and shoot with the Quad Laser. So the only time that I would ever put a weapon onto the speeder truck is if it really has the Reckless Driver, because you get an extra action, or an extra move action, basically, and it's nice to have, because then you can move, and that's your one movement for the round, and then you just aim and shoot, and then you can disembark the Wookiees, and then move and charge as well. And so that would be your other kind of like moving melee threat, and not your backline, melee defender. It's 9 activation, so it's a little bit shorter, and you only have 1 medic, so it's not so much of a gun line as it is just try to do what you can to have some fun. Now, the third one. This one is going to have Lando, Sabine, Clan Wren, and Cassian and K2. So lots of big names. I've got lead by example and seize the initiative on Lando to make sure he gets that order whenever you want. And then I've got Clan Wren, or Sabine, I should say, with situational awareness, electro grappling line, personal combat shield instead of the prepared supplies. And I'll tell you why. And then I've got the Darksaber on her. Now, prepared supplies is really nice on Sabine instead of the personal combat shield normally, because obviously she's got nimble. So it's almost kind of like having a personal combat shield with you the entire round. And since you have situational awareness, it's basically that. But then it's gone. And then you will have to start getting dodges later on. With Cassian, you've got the ability, I should say, to close that out, with Volunteer Mission to do a free recover, and then her 2-pip, which also gives her a free recover. So it's kind of like there's 2 turns where you get to kind of use it if you need it, which is real nice, instead of having to take a dodge action. But, if you decided to go with the Rebel Veterans with a portable scanner, or maybe she took a dodge instead, you don't have to have personal combat shield. You can change it for, prepared supplies. But the reason I have grappling line on there is, again, because, maybe you go with the 1-pip explosions. You arm, you do a free move, or maybe what you do is you grappling line whoever's there. They've got to stay there. And then because that's a free act. No, I think that's an action, sorry. Yeah, that's an action. So you'd have to do your grappling line, and then you could arm, and then do the free move, and then detonate if you wanted to. And then on the next round, in order to kind of save her, because maybe you go last with her, and then maybe you play crack shot to try to get a 1-pip off again. Well, not with Idiot's Array, with contingencies, maybe you play the 2-pip, ace up his sleeve to give Sabine an order, and then just have her move out of the way. Or maybe shoot and then move into a little bit more of a safe cover, so that she's not quite in the open to get shot. So that could be a little combo. And yeah, you're using, she's got Gunslinger, and then Crackshot gives Cassian Gunslinger, and if you were to play his 1-pip somehow, you could give Lando Gunslinger. If you brought in IG-11 instead, then you could have Sabine with Gunslinger, and then IG-11 with Gunslinger, and lots of ways, because they both have Pierce. So as far as I understand, as far as I know, Sabine's got Pierce 1, IG-11 has Pierce 1 at range 3, and with Gunslinger, you're just going to be taking bodies off the board pretty quickly. So, that's another option. And then I've got the Darksaber on her because of the Dauntless and the immune to Pierce, and she can, at least withstand a Force user. And then I've got Clan Ren with Tristan, Ursa, obviously, situational awareness and prepared supplies, because they've also got Nimble. And then the jetpack rockets, because, Tristan shoots range 1 to 3. Ursa has long shot, so you can also shoot a rainbow at range 1 to 3. And then use the jetpack rocket on the generic. And then you're rolling, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dice at range 3 with them, which is not bad. And it would be impact 1, blast, so no cover, and it could be suppressive or lethal. Suppressive and lethal. So that could be really nice little hit onto somebody. And then obviously Cassian's got Hunter and his sniper, and then I've got recon intel or environmental gear, whichever one you want to pick. I've got K2SO with the blaster. I've got the Rebel veterans, both with the heavy. One of them has a medical droid, one of them has portable scanners, and then 2 Mark IIs, giving you 9 activations. And lots of stuff to do with Sabine and Clan Ren, and, with Ace Up His Sleeve, being able to kind of either give Sabine even a dodge or a standby could be really good. And that could make Sabine a little bit better. But it just depends, because maybe you went with the 1 pip, and you gave Sabine her explosion since she did everything. And then now you want to give her a standby since she's so close to everybody with the 2 pip, or with Ace Up His Sleeve as the 2 pip, and now she's got a standby, and then she uses her standby to Gunslinger, and then on her turn, her activation, she Gunslingers again, and then moves. So being able to give a free standby to Sabine with Gunslinger and Pierce surging to crit could be really, really devastating to whoever it is you're going up against. So that could be fun. And then last but not least, you have to have one with Boba Fett, Rebel Boba Fett. I've got Rebel Officer with Vigilance and Portable Scanners. I've got Lando with Just Seize the Initiative. I've got Boba Fett with Hunter, Tenacity, Prepared Supplies, and the Flame Projector. You don't have to have Tenacity on there. Maybe if you wanted Seize the Initiative, that could be really good on Boba just in case. You don't even have to have anything on there, either. It's just kind of up to you. I just had it on there. IG-11 with Hunter and the bounty programming again. And then 2 Pike Foot Soldiers with, again, the PE-13 and the Capo. And then I've got 2 Rebel Veterans. One of them has the medical droid and portable scanners, and the other one has electro binoculars, mostly to support either both Mark IIs or both Foot Soldiers, or even to give IG-11 something, or Boba Fett more. And then I've got, Rule with Respect on there to give it to, Boba, Lando, and maybe even IG-11. Because then IG-11, if, he's at range 1 and in line of sight of Boba Fett, and maybe IG's at range 1 to 3 of something, you've got 2 black, 2 white, surges to hit, Pierce 1. And then, or you've got Lando Calrissian with a red, black, range 3, sharpshooter 2, Pierce. So that Rule with Respect could go really well. And he's also got Gunslinger. And as far as I understand, so when Boba Fett has a face-up order token, and when a friendly unit at range 1 and in line of sight makes a ranged attack, you add 1 black die to that unit's attack pool. And unless I'm wrong, you should be able to add that black dice to the Gunslinger shots, both of them, because it just says makes an attack. It doesn't say 1 attack, or it doesn't limit it necessarily, but I could be wrong. So check it before, taking my word for it. But as far as I understand, with the Gunslinger, he should be able to, he's making 2 attacks. Or, with range 1 to 4, if you were far away and decided to use that card, then you could have 3 black and a white Gunslinger shot. And if you've played his bounty programming, then that range 4 gun could be Pierce 1, because both of your weapons would gain Pierce 1, giving the range 1 to 4 Pierce 1, range 1 to 3 Pierce 2. Either way, you're going to be doing a lot of damage, and he's also got, Sharpshooter 1, which is going to help a lot. So yeah, this is a good firepower list too. I really like it, and even if you used that, and the pikes are at range 1 and in line of sight, because technically it doesn't say anyone else have a face-up order. Just when it says, while Boba has a face-up order token, any friendly unit at range 1 and in line of sight of him, whenever they make a ranged attack, adds a black dice to that unit's attack pool. So that's really cool. That even, I mean, you could technically just use it on anyone and everyone, even the Mark IIs. Mark IIs, instead of rolling 4 black dice at range 1 to 3, roll 5 black dice at range 1 to 3, critical 2. So it's really cool. I would probably pair it with definitely at least Lando and IG because of the pierce and the range that they're at. But that's really it, and again, with the contingencies, being able to, play anti-capture protocol and then contingency it with, either with the Z6 jetpack rocket, because you don't really have much impact in here. You've only got the impact 2 here. You've got, critical with Lando, Boba, I think surges to crit as well, which is real nice. The medium blaster, the medium Mark II, I should say, is critical too. So you've got lots of ways to get crits through, but it's just an extra little way of doing something. And if you didn't want to contingency it, you could just still play his card, which is blast, impact 3, and suppressive 3 red, 2 black. So this list has a lot of potential for tons of damage to go through, especially between the gunslinger and even making his way in the galaxy, where you can hit anybody at range 1 of him. There's just so much fun. But yeah, Lando just pairs well with other operatives. Yeah, and at least there's a commander in all of these, except for in this one there's Cassian, and even in this one is the other one that I had earlier with Cassian. You have 2 lists with him and at least 2 lists with the Rebel officer, so that you can infiltrate him in case you wanted to. But I wanted to give you options. So that is Lando. Hopefully you found him to be a little bit fun if you've already played him. And if you haven't played him, hopefully this has been a little educational and helping you make a decision to either buy him or use him a little bit more. Just leave a comment down below and what you think. And then subscribe and like this video for sure, and head on over to the Discord, become a member, and feel free to post whatever list ideas you have, or if you need feedback about something, or if you're painting, show us kind of what you're doing. Head on over to the Clan of Shadows Patreon, where you can become a member, help out this channel, help it to grow, help us to be able to do more for you guys. And also definitely head on over to ComScan. I'm going to leave their link in the description down below, and you can use Shadow Scout as a discount code for 10% off. And like I said, their things are awesome. This is going to be, like I said, what I'll be getting for all of you guys. And then this is, again, what it's going to look like next to your minis and just how big they are. And it's just really nice that this guy, Jason, and ComScan has really come together to help out this channel. And also head on over to thebirdacademy.com and subscribe for $15 a month. There you're going to be able to, again, get the 3, 4, 5, and 6-day week workout programs, and it's ready for the holidays. So like if you are looking to try to get in shape and make the New Year's resolution to go to the gym, this is the best place for it. So I highly recommend that you jump on board and do that. And then I want to give a special shout out to all of our Patreon members: Kitsune, Emperor Atlantis, Daniel Padilla, Anthony Estrada, and Tyson. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the support that you give. And yeah, guys, you guys have a great rest of your week and have a great weekend, and may the force be with you. Peace.